So this is the Robert W. Wingfield House. Back in the day, you could open up the Sears catalog,
Wow.
order a whole freaking house. And this is a private residence, kind of our own family private museum. Yeah, so
Dude, I did not expect this.
mostly
Seriously.
nothing in this place is newer than probably 70 years old. You're all alone, all by yourself out here. And that's the secret of this place. These waterways that have an amazing cooling effect. You know, these people really lived a vertical lifestyle.
I mean, how would you even get up there?
Climbing up ladders onto those different plateaus. A lot of these are houses, and this is where you find the cheap stuff. These ones are like under 200,000.
Are you serious?
For a lot of these places. Camp Verde is a pretty blue-collar town overall. So as beautiful as it is, very rural.
This is someone's house, huh?
It's funny because you've got houses like this, which are really big,
Yeah.
and then you've got like a couple of the double wides.
That's a beautiful house.
It's not a mansion, but look at what your view is every day.
Dude, this is a dream. I might be moving to Camp Verde, Ron. All right, what's going on, everyone? I am back with another video with a highly requested guest, Ron. We're here today in Camp Verde, and we're gonna be basically showing this entire town. And
Yeah, we're going to go through about 10,000 years of history in, what, 30 minutes?
yeah, all said and done, yeah.
So we're in Camp Verde on a place called Pecan Lane, which is a road that runs from Fort Verde State Park down at this end all the way to Montezuma Castle down at this end, a few miles along. And this whole area was designated a rural historic landscape, maybe one of the first in Arizona, if not the first. A young woman named Eva Hayden, who was the daughter of a landowner here, decided that pecans would be a great cash crop, and she missed the Midwest.
Oh yeah,
and,
sure.
And its pecan trees. So she went all up and down this lane planting pecan trees. And so all these pecan trees are protected under the National Park Service as a part of the rural historic landscape. Pecan trees were all planted in 1926,
Wow.
27, as a cash crop, and now they just grow alongside the road.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
It's really nice.
How much do you think all these properties cost out
So,
here?
when they bought the place we're going to see in 1983, I think they paid about a little over $30,000 for it.
Wow.
This old rock home on 3 acres. Now they're worth more. This town is kind of hidden. You know, people zip by on I-17 and don't really notice it all that much. So
Yeah.
it's managed to stay very rural and very quiet for a really long time. But it's a beautiful place. It's really my favorite place in the whole world. And so you know, now these properties are up around $500,000 to $1 million, depending. But you can still buy a house in Camp Verde for under $200,000, which
Are you serious?
is a pretty remarkable thing.
That is.
You know,
pretty remarkable, actually.
Anywhere in Arizona now. So here we are at the Wingfield House.
Oh man, this is like another world, to be honest.
It is.
It doesn't even feel like I'm in Arizona.
It is. So you see the pecan trees here.
Yeah.
So these things are massive, and right now they are just cranking out pecans. They are all over the ground. You just pick them up and eat them.
I mean, yeah, for real. Can you just use them for?
Yeah, I'm actually allergic to pecans, so I can't
actually,
eat them.
oh, that's funny.
This thing is massive, and it's not even 100 years old. It's like
Wow.
95, 96 years old.
Yeah.
And these things can actually grow to be like 1,000 years old.
Wow.
Or more. One of the cool things about the Verde Valley is the water table is really shallow. So pretty much anything you plant in the ground is going to grow like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
That's why it's so green.
Yeah, it is.
I was wondering about it.
The Verde Valley.
Dude, I've never seen it so green in Arizona. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the East Coast right now.
Yeah, we'll
you know?
talk about that a lot because
Yeah.
it's one of the things that makes this area so special. So this is the Robert W. Wingfield House. It was built in 1917. It's a craftsman style home, and it's actually a catalog house.
What does that mean?
So back in the day, you could open up the Sears catalog or other catalogs
Wow.
and order a whole freaking house.
What?
And so you would get this house. It would come on a flatbed truck,
Yeah.
and it would be you know, all the windows, all the doors, the gables, the roof struts, columns, everything.
Yeah.
And then you would supply whatever major building material you had. So like the stone here is Verde limestone. It's local limestone.
Wow.
So you get the
Wow.
kit and you just build the house. In the 20s, the 19 teens and 20s, this was the thing. There's actually a Buster Keaton film. where
People
he and
must
his
have been
wife-
just that resilient, huh? I can only imagine myself doing that now.
I mean, this place was the back end of nowhere. Right?
Yeah.
Even though Camp Verde was really one of the first settlements in all of Arizona, it was the back end of nowhere for a long time. And the Wingfields, who built this house, were was a major ranching farming family here in Camp Verde.
Yeah.
They were kind of the local aristocracy.
Wow.
So this house, you know, if you can imagine in 1917, when most houses are just kind of shacks, they don't even have electricity.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, seriously.
One of the things that makes this house kind of a big deal is just the concrete porch. It doesn't seem like a big thing to have a porch made out of concrete,
yeah.
But at the time, concrete was the material of the future.
Yeah.
So this was a super modern house.
Oh, I mean, actually, it looks quite modern to me. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like this is trendy.
But in 1917, this was really cutting edge.
Really?
This was like the bleeding edge of cool architecture,
yeah.
cool design. You know, it was a pretty big deal. So you see this this house is on the National Register of Historic Places here, and then this plaque over here commemorates Pecan Lane,
wow.
The rural historic landscape which my Uncle Dale put into action.
Wow.
And you can see there were kind of decisions made about the house as they went along. Like
yeah.
they'd put a front door there, and then they decided, no, we don't want the front door there.
They
put it over here, and then they put another one over here.
Wow.
Not sure what the reasoning was. Some people have said it was a Mormon house, because back in the day, in Mormon homes, you were expected to have a different door where the women would enter.
Oh, really?
The men would enter through their own door, but that's not the case. Nobody who ever lived here was Mormon. And this is a private residence, so it's not a public place that anybody can just come in. It's not a museum.
Yeah.
It's kind of our own family private museum.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this private museum here.
Yeah, seriously. I feel honored. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, so...
Dude, I did not expect this.
So
wow.
The only things in the house that are original to the original house are these light fixtures.
This isn't original on any of the couches or nothing?
Nothing. So when they bought this house, it had been 70'd. It was a rental house. And so there was carpet all over everything, including the wood floors. But these light fixtures were the only things that were here that were left from the original owners. So they just went room by room, fixing up and restoring each one. But there's a few indicators here that this was a pretty awesome house when it was built. Electricity for one. Not a lot of houses in 1917 had electricity here.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. Also, this big plate glass window here.
Yeah, look at that.
That was kind of a futuristic thing then too.
Wow.
So they've kind of gone through and just restored it piece by piece. And most everything in this house...
Is that a picture of the house?
That's a picture of the house when they bought it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of a jungle back here. All the tree of heaven had grown up around the house, and it was kind of a spooky jungle when I was a kid.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
this is amazing.
We've got the living room in here. So pretty much everything in this house is either a family heirloom from generations past, or it's something that they've picked up antiquing here or there throughout. We have an Edison Victrola over there in the corner. I need to fix that. It used to work. But it plays cylinders rather than records. So they spin.
Oh, what
spin
the
like
heck?
this.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, you crank it up and then it spins.
Shows you my my age.
And then you know, if you want to make it louder, you get closer.
Sure, yeah.
And if you want to make it softer, you get further away.
That's
and
hilarious.
If you want an amplifier on it, you could buy a bigger horn.
Oh, wow.
And the band would actually stand in front of these horns and play, and then we record on wax, and they press the wax.
that's what that is.
Yeah, so
okay.
that's what that is. This would have been a nice, comfortable place to live in the 19-teens.
Yeah.
You know, World War I was going on far, far away.
Yeah.
The mines were cranking out in Jerome.
Oh,
you have agriculture cropping up all over the valley. And so this is the place you want to be. But yeah, so they've gone through room to room, restoring each room. Kind of 1 weekend at a time. They'd come up here on the weekends and just work, lay down tiles and stuff like that. And it's kind of a museum of Arizona history. So mostly nothing in this place is older than probably 70 years, or is newer than probably 70 years old other than the fridge.
Sure.
So like even if you go into the pantry here and you look, everything in here is antique, from the 1950s cake decorations.
Yeah, it even smells
to
antique.
The radioactive uranium glass.
Wow.
To the old Christmas light bulbs, to a collection of egg scales. If anybody in the comments section wants to explain why we would need to weigh an egg.
I was just wondering that myself.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're cool. This is the Taylor room, named after the ice cream machine that makes some pretty amazing soft serve ice cream.
That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
It's had we haven't changed the parts out on it or anything.
Yeah.
It's from the 1940s. It still works. It's great.
Wow.
So right here, we have what's called the Eureka Ditch. There's many irrigation ditches that run throughout Camp Verde that bring water from the Verde River downstream to these different properties and then dump back into the Verde River again.
Wow.
So you buy into the ditch rights, which allows you to use the water. So every so often we open the floodgates, flood the grass out here.
Oh, really? That's how that works?
It keeps the water table relatively high. If I were to drop a rock down that well over there, probably like 25 feet down, you'd hit water.
Really?
So that's the great thing about the Verde Valley. Now, if you look over here, you see these white cliffs, right?
Yeah.
Now, that is the remnants of an Ice Age lake.
What the heck?
So back during the last Ice Age, all of the Verde Valley, from way downstream all the way up to Jerome and Clarkdale, was all one giant lake.
Wow.
There were mammoths, camels, horses, saber-tooths,
wow.
all sorts of creatures. We're really in kind of the greenest part of Arizona.
Yeah, seriously.
We're also very close to the geographic center of Arizona, which is only about 14, 15 miles south of us.
Like the very middle of the state.
The very middle of the state. So really
wow.
the heart of the state. The great things about this area, we'll walk down right now and check it out. Because up here, you know, you've got the grass and you've got the trees, and then you'll cross what we call the meander land down here. And once you get out of the trees, you're just kind of blasted by heat. About 101 degrees, that's what my car thermometer said, 101, 102.
Yeah, it feels much hotter right now.
So, oh my gosh, yeah, once you get out behind those pecan trees, that compounded shade.
Oh man.
It's like an incinerator out here. And then you walk out here along the sand and God, you feel like you're gonna die because it's so freaking hot.
Oh man, it cooled down again.
It cooled down again, yeah, right? We got into the trees. So this is our swimming hole.
Wow.
So we have big family campouts every year, and we come down here and splash around the swimming hole. It's, you know, we're in the height of summer. It's late June, just the very beginning of the monsoon season. So this is looking pretty scuzzy right now.
Yeah.
But you come here a month ago, it's a couple feet deeper, and we have a rope swing and float back and forth on the creek down here.
That was beautiful.
I call this the Arizona Bayou, especially when you get down here. It's just this tunnel of trees.
Yeah, it does look like a bayou, man.
But notice the temperature drop, like 10 degrees when we got here. And that's the secret of this place. It's these waterways that have an amazing cooling effect. And you know, you can barely hear the road back there. Suddenly you're all alone, all by yourself out here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you come out here early in the morning, you'll see beaver, you'll see river otters.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see great blue herons. There's eagles that nest in these trees.
I've never seen a beaver.
But one interesting thing is along here, they don't actually build dams. They build berms that run parallel to the water. So
what is that?
So we'll take a look. There's a beaver chew right there.
A beaver ate that?
Yeah, that's a beaver chew.
Damn.
Yeah, right? So you'll see that this tree has not been felled perpendicular to the water. It's been felled parallel.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What's up with that? We'll talk about what's up with that. So right here is what I'm talking about. This hill and all these trees wasn't here 30 years ago.
Really?
This went straight down to the creek right here. And so the beavers have been going through felling trees and building up this berm. And then they've got another one here. So what does that do? So when this creek floods, which when it floods a lot. You'll see debris up in the trees about 10 to 20 feet up. That's from floods, and it'll flood all the way to the back of the barn here.
Wow.
So what happens is you've got the main channel, which has the bulk of the water, and then you have a secondary channel, and then you have a third channel and a fourth channel, each one smaller than the rest. So because of that, it evens out the water so it's not just bombarding down full speed. And along the Verde River and its tributary creeks is the only place I've ever seen beavers do that.
Yeah.
But it's something they do pretty frequently here. So this out here, pretty much every little hilltop has some sort of Sinagua Indian dwelling on it.
Yeah, these are amazing.
Just about everything. There's caves back in those hills, and and ancient walls and all sorts of stuff. So there's Montezuma Castle, which we'll see in a little bit, which was, you know, kind of the primary big place, but there's settlements all over this valley. They think that, you know, 700-800 years ago, there were as many people living here then as there are now. But again, what attracted people to this area over the last 10,000 plus years is the water. You know, this place has water, and most places around Arizona, I don't know if you've noticed, but they don't have a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, man, you might have me sold already on Camp Verde, man. This is like a hidden gem.
It's a cool place.
This is maybe
we are just getting started. It's really, really special.
Yeah, it really is.
We probably shouldn't even be making a YouTube video about it. So this was built by the Sinagua people and abandoned in the early 1400s. And the name Sinagua, Spanish name, means without water, which is kind of weird because the Verde Valley is full of water.
Yeah.
There's water everywhere in the Verde Valley. But the name actually came from the San Francisco Peaks. When the Spaniards first visited the San Francisco Peaks, they saw that there was no water coming off the mountain, which was really strange because everywhere they'd ever been, that's where you go to get water. As you find a mountain, you look for the streams.
Yeah.
And that's where you get your water. But there's no streams coming off the mountain. It all percolates down through the volcanic soil and just disappears into caves underneath. So they referred to it as Sierra Sinagua, which means mountain without water.
Wow.
And so the Sinagua people got named after the region, which was the Sinagua region, even though Camp Verde is anything but,
yeah,
you know, absent of water.
Yeah, I mean, how would you even get up there?
Ladders.
Like just climbing this whole thing?
Yeah, or just climbing up ladders onto those different plateaus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you can see like little crevices in there.
I know, there's all these other little granaries and dwellings all along here. Some of them are called cavates or cavats, I've heard it pronounced both ways, which are kind of these tunneled out caves that they would live in.
Interesting.
And then you have things built up. And of course this is, you know, this has been restored a few times, but this is more or less the way they found it because it's sheltered from the elements.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
A lot of these have seeps in the back, so they have a water supply.
Yeah.
And, you know, these people really lived a vertical lifestyle.
Yeah,
For hundreds of years, they were just running up and down these cliff faces.
That's amazing.
And there's some of these that I wouldn't go to unless I had a harness and a rope, but they did them barefoot or in yucca fiber sandals. And they only lived to be, you know, 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
Because in large part, you know, you grind your food on these metates and manos, these grinding stones.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And the silica from the rock gets into your food. So that grinds your teeth down.
Ooh.
So eventually
you can't eat.
You run
no
out
more.
of teeth.
Oh,
and when
man.
you run out of teeth,
how
you're
you
done.
gonna eat? Yeah.
So me, I'm way too old to be a Sinagua.
Wow.
This is Castle A.
Castle A.
And so look here, you can see these masonry walls.
Yeah.
So we're kind of right in the middle of it here.
So
and
this
these are the cavates, or cavats. You can see this one up here with the walls up high.
Oh yeah, I do see that.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of them blackened on the ceiling.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Is that like burning?
Yeah, a lot of times when they were done with the space, they would burn it out.
Interesting.
But that also happened because of attack. So usually a place that had been smoked out was abandoned. Now these people kind of wandered away from here in the 1400s, and for a long time they thought, well, where did they go? They just disappeared. Did aliens come down and take them away? Or they vanished. You know, when I was a kid, that was it. Where did they go? They vanished.
Yeah.
And somebody thought to ask the Hopi, and they're like, yeah, we're still here. That's
funny.
They kind of disbanded into several groups. Some of them moved down into Mexico. Some moved up onto the Hopi mesas. But these are who the Hopi consider to be their ancestral people. This was right over here on the left was originally a mercantile store that was owned by the Wingfields, which was in competition with the other Wingfield store that was across town.
Yeah, I was going to say, and those are the people that own that house that you're in at one point? Yeah.
And right down here is Fort Verde State Park, which is the original fort. So, okay, so Camp Verde was one of the first communities in Arizona. It was one of the first town cities. And Fort Verde was its center. And Fort Verde started up right after the Civil War.
Yeah.
So the fur trappers and people started coming out here in the mid-1800s, but they got chased out by the natives, the Apaches. And the prime reasoning for that was the fact that they did not have weaponry that could compete with a well-thrown bow and arrow or a spear.
Interesting.
It was far more accurate than any musket they could have.
So that's it.
So that's it.
That's the
original fort.
So
this was the base of operations for the Apache Wars.
Wow.
Which I learned today may actually be the longest war in American history.
Really?
It lasted about 25 years.
Wow.
And so General Crook, this was kind of his base of operations for the Indian Wars, beating back the Apaches. And the Apaches in this area were like the Vikings were in Europe. They were raiders.
Yeah.
They came in after, right around the same time as the Spanish did. They're one of the Athabascan tribes, like the Navajo. And they came in and just, their whole method was raiding. They would raid, they would capture slaves, they would capture goods, and they'd go trade them down in Mexico. They really didn't want to drive away the new settlers completely, because they were their income. You drive them away, then you have less stuff to trade. Yeah, this is all residential. So a lot of these buildings here are actually old buildings from the time of the original fort.
This is amazing.
So they were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And a lot of these are houses, and this is where you find the cheap stuff. These ones are like under 200,000.
Are you serious?
For a lot of these places. Camp Verde is a pretty blue-collar town overall. I mean, a lot of Camp Verde is kind of like this. So as beautiful as it is, it's pretty blue-collar. It's a bit run down in a lot of places.
I do see that, yeah.
So
it took a turn pretty quick.
It's very rural.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of people are coming here from out of state or other places to settle down near the river or find a nice place to live, a lot of this town has been like this for a long time.
Wow.
And that's part of what's kept the rural charm of Camp Verde intact, is that it's not the maybe not necessarily the prettiest place to live.
Yeah.
If you're not right on the river.
Sure. Okay,
so
I understand.
When you drive off the highway and this is the first thing you see, you go, well, there's nothing worth seeing here. As it turns out, there's a lot of stuff worth seeing here.
Yeah. So that's so okay. That makes so much sense to me that this over here would be like preserved and still affordable versus like that. But look, where we just were in that downtown square, kind of looks expensive to me.
Yeah.
Like they did up all the buildings. Similar to maybe a Prescott kind of vibe, but then they left all this.
But this has stayed pretty much the same for the last 50 years. It's really, from when I was first coming here at 10 years old, it's not that different. A lot of these buildings these are from the 1880s.
Yeah, they look very original.
Even though they look a lot like reconstructed antique shops and stuff.
Are they?
Some of them are, but some of them are actually the original buildings from way back. And so this is, unless you're in Tucson, this is one of the oldest communities in Arizona.
Wow.
This place here, Top Shelf Liquor, it actually used to be drive-through liquor and archery supplies.
What the heck? That's so random.
I'm kind of sad that it's so long, because that's really kind of a cool thing. So they had to put this barricade up so people wouldn't hit this rock. It's just a pretty ordinary looking rock.
What is this?
Until you come around to the other side.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do we know what any of it means?
Negative. A lot of times spirals are solstice markers.
Okay.
So during a winter or summer solstice or an equinox, there's sometimes a crack that will allow a little spike of light to come through like the center of some of these spirals.
Really?
And the spirals can represent days, so you can, where that slice of light can come across different parts of the spiral, it'll denote certain things.
Yeah.
Sometimes the light will come across the spiral when you want to plant your corn, or when you want to plant other things, or when the elk are returning.
Yeah.
So when you see that slice come across, you've got a pretty accurate calendar. And if you look over here, there's more.
How do they do it?
Generally, they would just, how do they draw them?
Yeah.
They'd take stones and then just kind of knock the stones and chip them into the surface.
Wow, it's so perfect though.
It would take days, if not weeks, to do something like this. It would take a really, really long time. And this is volcanic rock. It's very hard.
Yeah, it looks like
it's very hard to get this kind of a design in there. You got to really mean it.
Yeah.
So when people look at it and say, "Oh, that's just ancient graffiti," that's just people messing around. It's not.
Yeah.
These things have certain meanings, and sometimes that if you have clans migrating through, they might add their glyph again and again. So you have one place that has, like my friend Phil's clan, which is the Sun Forehead clan. You see a repetition of that for every time the people came through. So if you find a rock with a lot of the same symbol on them again, those are often migration routes where people would come back to again and again.
All right, POV, everyone. All right, everyone, in hopes of all of my equipment working on this kayak right now, you get POV, point of view perspective, from my headband GoPro here. Yeah, this was the move, man.
Yeah. Just when it's so hot you can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling up there, and I'm like, I feel relief now.
You know, one of the things I love about where we are is that there's nothing bad in the water. You know, anything that looks dangerous lets you know.
Yeah.
Rattlesnakes buzz, scorpions have big stingers.
Yeah.
You know, everything that looks dangerous is dangerous. Cactus are spiky.
That's so true, huh?
We don't have any secret dangers out here. And you'd never know we were like in town right now.
We're in town.
Pretty much. I mean, there's houses right over here. There's houses over here.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. You know what I love about doing this, man, is I get to hang out with like so many like strangers, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not, like, you're obviously not, right, anymore, but like, how many people do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. It's great. I promise it gets better.
It's all good, man. We taking yours first?
Yeah.
Friendly reminder to everyone watching this right now to like and subscribe to the video. Yeah, let me help you out.
Yeah, and wetter, like in the spring, the water just flows right over all this. This is a dam just made of kind of debris and junk.
Yeah.
Old cars and all sorts of shit. This is the worst I've ever seen this spot.
Really?
It's really choked up with crap.
Oh, that view is very rewarding. Is this someone's private property? It is,
Yeah.
huh?
After a hard day's work, you come home, you just
Man.
jump in the boat, go cruise around. The whole country should be a national park with certain areas set aside for people to live in, you know?
Yeah, if you think about it. I think that's probably what it once was, in a way.
Yeah.
A rural living, you know? This is someone's house, huh? Wow.
Yeah, these are all houses. Remember we drove by downtown in Fort Verde, that's just like right over there.
Wow. Dude, this is a dream. I mean, this is something that you'd see more in like Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
you know? Like, honestly.
See how deep it is here.
Is it pretty deep?
Oh, there's the
yeah.
bottom. Not that deep.
I might be moving to Camp Verde, Ron.
I wouldn't blame you. I went to high school in Prescott and then moved down to Tucson. I was down there for about 13 years. And when I met my wife, we were down in Tucson and we just thought, well, we're always coming up to northern Arizona. Why don't we just move to northern Arizona?
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of everything we want to see. I mean, we did a lot of stuff in Tucson too, but like all the stuff we really wanted to do, especially in summer, was up here.
Man, look at that house.
Yeah, I like this one with the stairs coming down.
That's beautiful. Yeah, very Western.
It'd be a good place for a wedding.
I just can't believe this is like, this belongs to people. I mean, it's amazing.
And it's right here in this state, you know, it's just...
How much do you think these houses cost right here? If you had to have a rough estimate.
I checked a little bit ago and I was thinking like 400 range.
What is it?
Three to 400.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean,
That's
it depends on the house. It's funny because you've got houses like this, which are really big.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a couple of the double wides, you know,
Yeah.
manufactured homes too.
Yeah.
I think the land is a big part of it.
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful house.
It's not a mansion, but it's just Look at those windows. Look at what your view is every day.
Yeah.
You just come home and jump in the river. Oh, that's deep.
Yeah. Well, Ron, I really appreciate you taking me out today, man, to Camp Verde.
Always a pleasure.
And yeah, leave it in the comments below if you want to see Ron in more videos. Personally, I really enjoy hanging out with him. So
Likewise.
I'd love to do another one.
Cool thing about Camp Verde is no matter how hot and sweaty it is, and it was 105 today, you can always get on the river. And
Absolutely.
That's pretty great.
We're gonna...
And on a Saturday afternoon, have it to yourself, which is nuts.
All right, everyone, we're gonna peace out, and I think we're just gonna cap the video here. So everyone
good.
have a good rest of your night, and thanks for watching. Peace.